You ever open your chest, pour your soul out, thinking someone would understand, only to watch them blink, nod, and quietly kill everything you just said? Not with words, with silence, with that subtle smirk, with that shift in energy that said, "You're dreaming too big. Sit back down." You ever walk away from that and feel hollow, like your fire got pissed on, like your dream just got dressed in chains? That's what happens when you speak too soon. When you bleed in front of people who'd rather watch you die slow than see you win. And the craziest part, you knew it. Your gut screamed, "Shut up." But your mouth kept going because you wanted to be seen, heard, believed in. But they weren't listening to believe in you. They were listening to find the cracks, to water the doubt, to drag you back to their level of stuck. That's how power leaks, drop by drop, through lips that should have stayed sealed. We're living in an age where people think silence means weakness, where sharing too much has become a badge of honor. But Stoicism, it isn't about being cold. It's about being undefeated inside. It's about protecting your light like it's the last flame left on earth. Because not every eye that watches is wishing you well. You think you're venting. They think you're slipping. You think it's trust. They see a target. And before you know it, your fire's gone, your will's cracked, and your masterpiece has turned into a ghost. That's why the next time you feel the urge to speak, bite down, hold it, build it, bleed in silence, move like a phantom, work like a storm behind locked doors. Let your actions hit the world like thunder and never warn them it's coming. Speak after the victory, not before the war. Because what they don't know, they can't stop. What they don't see, they can't curse. What they can't feel, they can't kill. So, if you've ever been burned by your own words, if you've ever felt that sick twist in your gut after oversharing, this is your wake-up call. No more handing out your vision like scraps. No more letting empty souls sip from your spirit. No more explaining the magic to people who don't believe in alchemy. Smash that like button if you've ever been betrayed by your own voice. Drop "I'm done oversharing" in the comments if you're ready to move in silence and build like a ghost with a grudge. Subscribe if you're done with empty words and ready to walk like a storm. And I'm dead serious. Do not skip any part of this video. This one's for the ones who got stabbed for being real. This one's for the quiet warriors, the ones building an empire with their mouths shut and their souls on fire. Let them think you're gone. Let them sleep on you. But when you return, make sure they choke on the silence you left behind. Now, let's dive in. Number 1, energy leaks when you speak too soon. There's a silence so heavy it speaks louder than rage. Not many people carry it because not many people can handle it. The silence of a grounded man, a man who knows he doesn't owe the world his reactions, a man who understands that just because something stings doesn't mean it deserves a sound. That kind of silence, that's not emptiness. That's artillery. Most will never taste it. Because most are too drunk on noise, too quick to prove they're not weak, they end up proving they have no control. The moment something scratches their ego, they explode. Words come pouring out not with precision but panic, not with power but desperation. It's not a response. It's a leak of energy, of composure, of self-respect. They defend, explain, interrupt. They jump in too early. And that jump, that's the exact moment they lose. You can see it in their breath, in their shaking hands. They've stepped out of alignment and into performance, all to avoid the thing they fear most, silence. When you speak too soon, you give away what should have been felt. What should have lingered like a ghost, you reduce to noise. You explain what should have been observed. You expose what should have been left behind the curtain. The mystery dissolves. The presence breaks and you're no longer commanding the moment. You're chasing it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled with discipline rather than impulse, wrote, "Don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about others." But let's stretch that deeper. Don't waste what remains of your breath reacting to things that don't deserve your words. Don't spill your energy defending yourself to people who have already made up their minds. Don't break your silence just because someone else couldn't sit with theirs. Stoicism isn't about mooting your emotions. It's about mastering them, about becoming a fortress, not a flood, and your mouth is one of the main gates. Leave it wide open and chaos walks right in. But guard it and you guard your kingdom. When a stoic man speaks, it's not to feel better. It's to do better, to shape the moment, to put finality to something. Not to flail, not to beg, not to please, but to stand. You ever notice what happens after you speak too fast, too early, too emotionally, that ache in your gut, that tightening in your chest? That's not regret. That's truth trying to shake you awake. That's your spirit reminding you gave them something they didn't earn. You cracked your posture. You diluted your edge. Because silence isn't passive. It's tactical, it's spiritual, and it's sharp. It cuts deeper than yelling ever could. And when wielded by a stoic mind, it's a weapon so deadly it doesn't even need a sheath. It just is. Let them talk. Let them try to fill the space. Let them twist in the air you refuse to soften. Your job isn't to comfort their chaos. It's to master yours, because the more you can sit in that heat without breaking, the more dangerous you become. You stop being a man they can read and start becoming one they can't stop watching. And when you do speak after all that stillness, it won't just be heard. It'll be remembered. It'll ring. It'll haunt. Because it won't come from panic. It'll come from precision. And that's the kind of presence no one forgets. Marcus Aurelius didn't scream his way through life. He wrote his thoughts in the dark. He held the weight of an empire in stillness. He practiced composure like a discipline, because he knew power doesn't announce itself, it waits. And when it moves, it doesn't explain. It ends things. So let silence be your shield. Let your breath be your barrier. Let your voice only come out when it carries the force of restraint behind it, because any fool can shout. But only the grounded man, the stoic, can speak like a god and move like a ghost. Don't waste your thunder on raindrops. Let it build, let it burn, then strike. Number 2, most people pretend to support you, but they're just watching. Let's be real. Most people aren't on your side. They're watching you, waiting for you to fail. And they're doing it with a smile on their face, with their fake applause, their hollow words of encouragement. But deep inside, they're praying you stumble, hoping you fall so they can point and say, "I knew it." They don't want you to succeed, but they won't dare sabotage you directly. No, it's far more sinister than that. They'll distract you. They'll feed you just enough fake support to make you believe they're rooting for you. They'll give you that polite clap, that half-hearted cheer, just enough to keep you in the illusion that they're on your team. But as soon as things get tough, as soon as you face real adversity, they'll be the first ones to tear you down, finding every flaw, poking holes in your vision, undermining your every move. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And that's exactly what these people are doing. They're wasting your time with their phony support, their empty applause. They're wasting your time with their doubts, their second guessing. And the worst part, you're letting them. You're letting their whispers, their judgment, crawl into your mind. You're starting to doubt yourself, to question your worth, to wonder if maybe they're right. But it's all a lie, a strategy to keep you distracted, to keep you from breaking through, to keep you from rising to the greatness you're capable of. The worst part, they won't even sabotage you openly. No, they're too subtle for that. Instead, they'll watch, they'll wait, and they'll clap. And every single day you chase their validation, every single moment you look for their approval is a moment you waste. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. She had this dream, a business that would have changed everything. She had the plan, the vision, the fire to make it happen. She told everyone. She told her family, her friends, and for a moment they clapped. They gave her the praise she thought she needed. They told her it was going to be amazing. But behind closed doors, they mocked her. They whispered about how insane she was, about how it would never work. They called her immature, naive. They laughed at her ambition, making her believe it was too big, too risky, too impossible. She started to listen. She started to question. And slowly, like a poison, doubt seeped into her mind. She thought maybe they were right. Maybe she wasn't cut out for it. Maybe the dream was too big. And just like that, she gave up before the launch even happened. Her dream died, not because of failure, but because of their distractions. And what happened? Someone else took the exact idea and ran with it, built it, lived it, succeeded where she hesitated. This is what happens when you let their voices drown out your own, when you let the doubts of others corrode your confidence. Seneca warned us about this, saying, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The suffering wasn't the failure she feared. It was the doubt that was planted by people pretending to support her. The suffering was imagining she couldn't when in reality she was more than capable. And here's the lesson: don't let anyone decide your worth. Don't let their fake cheers fool you into thinking you need them. Your success won't need their applause. It won't need their approval. It'll speak for itself. Until you make it, stay silent about your vision. Let your actions tear through the silence like a storm. Let the results speak louder than words ever could. Because in the end, success is the most brutal form of revenge. Let them watch. Let them wait. Your success will shatter their expectations, crush their doubts, and prove them all wrong. You don't need their approval. All you need is the fire inside of you, the drive to push forward, and the courage to ignore the noise. Your future is waiting. Number 3, your silence builds mystery, and mystery is magnetic. In a world drowning in noise, silence becomes your most lethal weapon. It's not the silence of surrender or fear, but the silence of control. You want to stand out in this overcrowded noise machine. You want to be the one everyone remembers. Then say nothing. Move like a force of nature, silent, distant, like the calm before a storm. You don't need to scream to be heard. When you move, the world will feel it. Epictetus didn't need to announce his power to the world. He understood that true strength is not in what you say, but in what you hold back. It's in the restraint to say less, to reveal less, to let the world wonder. Most people think the loudest voice commands the most power. The truth, it's the quiet ones who carve their legacy in the hearts of others. Mystery is magnetic. And when they can't figure you out, when they can't predict your next move, they can't stop thinking about you. This isn't some game. This is warfare, mental, emotional, psychological. You don't need to chase attention. Let it come to you. Let them search for you. Let them try to understand you as you remain the enigma that haunts their thoughts. The longer you stay silent, the louder your presence becomes. They itch to know what you're doing, but you don't give them that satisfaction. That's your power. They need you. They're obsessed with you, but they can't reach you. I knew a guy like this. He said nothing. He posted nothing. The world had no idea what he was building, what he was creating in the dark for years. Nothing. No one saw the sweat, the hours, the sacrifices. But all that silence, that space he created, It was a bomb waiting to go off until one day he exploded onto the scene quietly, privately. A low-key launch, 6 figures sold out in 24 hours. And when it hit, when that reality smacked the world in the face, it was a punch they didn't see coming. The impact wasn't in the product. It wasn't in the strategy. It was in the silence, the years of it, the months of them assuming he was doing nothing when all the while he was quietly building something that would shake them to their core. The silence had become his weapon. The absence had become his weapon. They were blindsided. They were destroyed by the force of something they couldn't even anticipate. That is the power of silence. It builds. It ferments. It grows stronger with every passing day. And when it finally hits, when that silence becomes the storm, they don't know what the hell to do with it. They can't remember this. Silence is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's mastery. It's the ultimate control. When you hold back, when you withhold, you're not just creating suspense. You're making them wait. You're making them chase. And when you finally make your move, they won't even know what hit them. They'll never forget it. Number 4, speaking too soon invites unnecessary pressure. Once you speak your goals out loud, you unleash a chain of events that can change everything. At first, it feels liberating, a way to hold yourself accountable, to put your intentions into the universe. But what you might not see is that you've just bound yourself to a new weight. Not just your own doubts and fears, but now you've invited the world to judge, to scrutinize, and to add their unnecessary pressure to your already fragile resolve. The moment you speak, you are no longer just battling yourself. You are battling every unspoken expectation, every whisper of doubt, and every critical eye that lurks in the shadows, waiting for you to falter. The Stoic teaches us a brutal truth. What is outside our control is not worth our attention. But when you announce your goals to the world, you open a door to things you cannot control, people's judgments, opinions, and harsh criticisms. It's an invitation to chaos. Those who have no stake in your success will begin to watch you closely, like vultures circling over a wounded animal, just waiting for you to slip. Every bite you take, every missed workout, every failure, no matter how small, is seen under a microscope. Their whispers become louder, their criticisms more venomous. And before you know it, you are no longer fighting your own fears. You are fighting the collective doubts of those who have nothing better to do than watch you struggle. I knew a girl who once made the mistake of announcing her weight loss journey to the world. She thought it would keep her focused, but she unknowingly handed over her strength to the masses. With every meal, every step, every workout or lack of one, she felt eyes on her. People she barely knew began to make comments. Some said she was too slow. Others told her she was taking the wrong approach. The pressure mounted. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was about them, their judgments, their criticisms. And when the pressure became too much, when the weight of the world was too heavy, she cracked. She gave up. Not because she didn't want to succeed, but because the noise drowned out her purpose. The world's opinions became her prison. This is the reality that many fail to see. When you let others in, you let them shape your reality. Their expectations, their doubts, their judgments, they begin to cloud your mind, suffocating the clarity of your own path. You were once determined, strong, unwavering in your mission. Now you're exhausted by their voices, distracted by their gaze, and eventually you fall off course. The Stoics knew the power of silence. What you say can bind you, but what you withhold can free you. They knew that true power comes from an inner stillness, a resolute commitment to the path that is yours and yours alone. When you share your dreams with the world, you are not just putting them at risk. You are allowing others to steal your fire, to trample on your will. So why expose yourself to a world of critics who offer nothing but judgment? Why place your goals in the hands of those who are only looking to see you fail? It's a betrayal of your own strength. True accountability doesn't come from the eyes of strangers. It comes from the soul of those who believe in your growth. The Stoic would say, choose your circle wisely. Speak only to those who will lift you higher, those who will challenge you to become more than what you are today. Surround yourself with those who see the greatness in you that even you haven't yet discovered. Let their belief fuel you. Let their support anchor you. When you speak to the wrong people, you surrender your peace. You give away your power. The opinions of others are a weight you can never afford to carry. Their expectations are chains wrapped around your soul, keeping you bound in place, terrified to move. But when you speak to those who are rooted in strength, who want to see you rise, you transform that same power into a force of nature. You become unstoppable. You become who you were always meant to be. So speak, but speak only to those who will help you carry the burden, not those who will break you under its weight. Number 5, privacy protects your peace. Privacy is not just a shield. It is the very pulse of your soul beating in silence against the deafening roar of a world that demands you lay yourself bare. It is the unspoken vow. You will not touch me. It's the fortress built not of stone but of fire, a place where only the chosen can enter and everyone else is kept at bay. When you embrace privacy, you aren't hiding. You're declaring war against the chaos that wants to drown you. You're saying, you will not break me, you will not own me. In a world addicted to exposure, you become the ultimate rebel. You stop performing for an audience that doesn't care to understand the war you've fought, the battles you've bled for. No more seeking approval from those who can never feel the weight of your struggle. No more twisting yourself into a shape to please eyes that can never see you. You choose a different path, a path that doesn't bend to the world's demands. You choose to stand tall, to be your own master, to reclaim the power that's been stolen from you. Every moment you choose to protect your privacy, you protect your soul from the poison that seeps into your mind when you let others in, their judgments, their expectations. They are the chains that keep you from growing, from evolving. When you let them in, you lose pieces of yourself. But when you shut them out, when you reclaim your silence, you get it all back. The chaos outside can scream, but inside you will be the storm, untouched, unshaken, unbreakable. When you embrace your privacy, you seize control. You decide who gets to glimpse your life and who remains on the outside. And that is power. You stop needing anyone's approval. The Stoics knew this. To be free is to be indifferent to the judgments of others. You stop feeding the noise and instead you build your life on your own terms. You guard your peace like a lion guards its pride, fiercely, relentlessly, without apology. I reached a moment in my life when I realized I had been spilling my energy, my soul, all over the place. Too much access, too much of myself given away to people who didn't deserve a piece of me. And in that realization, I stopped. I stopped explaining. I stopped justifying. I stopped performing. And in the silence that followed, I found power. A deep, undisturbed peace flooded my veins. The constant noise of needing to be seen, needing to be understood, it was gone. And in that silence, I became untouchable. The world noticed. They saw the change, but they couldn't understand it. And that's the power, the mystery, the strength in keeping your evolution sacred, the strength in keeping your struggles and victories to yourself where they belong. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need anyone to validate your journey. It's yours and yours alone. The truth, the world doesn't need to understand you. Only you need to understand yourself, your life, your peace, your soul. They are yours to protect. No one else's opinion can touch you unless you allow it. And when you choose to live in privacy, you become a fortress, immovable, invincible. The Stoics understood this long before we did. True freedom isn't about being seen or heard. It's about not being affected by the noise. It's about building an invisible wall around your soul and letting nothing in that doesn't belong. You are the master of your peace. You are the protector of your silence. And the world can scream as loud as it wants, but it will never reach you. You've made yourself untouchable. You are not just protecting your peace. You are protecting your life. You are shielding your soul from the poison of the world's expectations. You are becoming the version of yourself that others will never understand. And that's the point. You become unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. And the world, they'll wonder how you've mastered the art of inner peace, but you'll know the secret. You'll know that by guarding your privacy, you've become untouchable. You don't owe the world your process. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the path you're walking. Every move you make, every step you take is yours to keep. The world doesn't need to hear your plans if they don't know what you're up to. That's exactly the point. Silence is not just a choice, it's your weapon. It's in the quiet where you build the strength, the mental fortitude, the resilience that'll break them. While they chatter, you grind. While they seek approval, you seek dominance. Let them wonder, let them question, let them doubt everything about you. Let them live in your shadow, never knowing what's coming for them. Be silent, be focused, be relentless. Your power lies in the unseen. Let your actions destroy their doubts. Let your success crush their expectations. They'll hear the roar of your victory before they ever understand the quiet storm that fueled it. Until then, stay dangerous in the silence. This is the Stoic way. The Stoic doesn't announce his journey. He doesn't beg for validation. He lives his truth, unwavering, unmoved. He doesn't need recognition. His strength is in his resolve. He knows that the only person he answers to is himself. The world can watch, but it will never see what's coming. His silence speaks louder than any boast ever could. So now hit that like button. Subscribe if you're ready to cut through the noise and claim what's yours, and drop "move in silence" in the comments if you're prepared to level up while the world stays asleep. Stay sharp. Stay locked in. Stay quiet. Because the real ones, they don't talk about it. They become it.